This is my intro. This is my intro.
What's up, you guys? It's Alexa and welcome back to my channel. So a lot of you guys really liked the Boujee back to school supplies video and the dollar store Anthropologie decor video, so I decided to merge the two and make them do like a little collab to bring you guys this dollar store Boujee decor video. Some people didn't really believe that the items that I got in the Anthropologie video were from the dollar store, but I mean, like a $2 mirror at a dollar store is technically from the dollar store. But anyways, I decided to just use $1 items for this, like strictly $1. Obviously gold spray paint is not going to be from the dollar store, but the main pieces that I will be DIYing will be $1. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you guys don't miss out on when I post. And without further ado, let's get on to these tutorials. First up are these super extra designer candles. For this tutorial, you will need tape, a hair dryer, candles from the dollar store, scissors, a glue stick, tissue paper from the dollar store, a sheet of computer paper, and some wax paper. Cut your tissue paper about the same size of your computer paper, but a little smaller, about ½ an inch on all sides. Tape your tissue paper onto the computer paper as flat as you can. For my logos, I decided to use the Versace, Gucci, and Chanel logo, and I resized them according to the dimensions on the candle wrapper. Print your logos out onto the tissue paper and carefully cut them out. Some people like to cut the computer paper along with the tissue paper because it's easier to grip, but since we will be using the same sheet of paper later on, I decided to only cut the tissue paper. Cut as close as you can to the logo, leaving a tiny space on the outer edge. Then you can glue your logo onto the candle. I'm using purple glue since it will end up drying clear later on. Cut a piece of wax paper that will fit around your candle and place it on top of the tissue paper. Blow dry this for approximately 3 minutes. So after a while of blow drying, you guys will see that the logo ink becomes a little darker. This means that the tissue paper is melting onto the candle, and then from there you guys can peel off the wax paper. So in my experience, I found I had the best results when I blow dried for a few minutes so that the tissue paper starts to melt, but then you can still see the edges and they're still a little visible. From there I peeled off the wax paper and continued to blow dry directly onto the candle for 10 to 15 seconds. So here are the finished candles, and I am literally so obsessed with how these came out that I want to make a million Versace candles now. Next, we have this super easy marble tray. All you need is a picture frame from the dollar store, some gold spray paint, and scissors that I did not film. For the frame, find one that has more of a protruding border that comes out rather than the usual flat borders. Take out everything and spray paint the frame gold. So remember the piece of paper from the previous tutorial? Well, we are putting it to use. So I googled and printed out a marble photo, and then I cut it to the frame dimensions. Down below, I'll link the marble photo that I used in case any of you guys want to use it too. This part is totally optional, but if you guys want to add a bit of extraness like me, add some gold leaf paint onto the marble veins. I just wanted the marble to stand out a bit, and because gold leaf is super reflective, it was the perfect accent. But you know what? You guys can also just keep it simple without it. Once your paint is dry, replace the frame glass, insert the marble photo, and add back the cover to complete your tray. I also added some tape onto the back so that the little stand thingy doesn't come out. This tutorial was super easy, and in my opinion it looks way better as a tray than it does as a picture frame. Now when you sneeze, even your tissue box can bless you. For this tutorial, you will need a mirror, rhinestone trim, a tissue box, a small cardboard box, all of these were from the dollar store by the way, a glass cutter tool, a Sharpie, X-Acto knife, ruler, E6000 glue, silver spray paint, and a hot glue gun. First, draw an opening for your tissue box and cut this out with your X-Acto knife. Remove the mirror from the frame and use a Sharpie and your ruler to make shapes onto the mirror. Now you can cut your mirror pieces out with your glass cutter. So I am still such a noob at using a glass cutter that all of the wonderful shapes that I tried to cut out came out super ugly. So I ended up just shattering my mirror so that I could do some kind of like wannabe mosaic pattern later on. So I didn't film this part, but I also filed the edges and points of the glass with a nail file so that I wouldn't cut myself. I definitely suggest using gloves or having an adult help you if you guys aren't familiar with cutting glass. I also removed any Sharpie marks with a cotton ball and some rubbing alcohol. Spray paint your box with your silver paint. Once your box is dried, you can now glue your mirror pieces to your box. I tried hot gluing them at first, but it wouldn't stick to the box, so I ended up switching over to E6000 glue. It takes a little bit longer to dry, but it ended up being the best method to use. So I found this faux rhinestone trim in the Halloween section at the dollar store, and I was like super excited at first, but then I noticed that it had skulls going down the center of it, so all I was able to use were the sides. So I ended up just cutting off the sides of the trim and hot gluing this around the edge of the box. I really thought this trim was going to look ugly because it was the inverted type that just gives off the illusion of rhinestones, but really it's just an empty hole. But you know what? At the end it actually looked pretty cool. To finish off your box, remove the tissues from an actual tissue box and place them inside of your new box. I usually get irritated by how huge and chunky tissue boxes are, so I just love how this one is small and it doesn't cramp up the aesthetic of my desk. Here's a little piece of motivating decor. You will need a bowl of water, gold spray paint, white glue, rope from the dollar store, a hot glue gun, a plastic cover or trash bag that I did not film, scissors that I also didn't film, and any brush. The first step is to form your quote with the rope and add hot glue in between to hold the shape of the letters. You will also need to temporarily glue the back of the rope to the plastic backing to help you form your quote. When adding glue to the back, make sure you're only using a small drop because you're going to be removing this later on. Also, make sure that your quote is as flat as possible because the way you glue it will be the way that it comes out. If you run out of plastic, you can always use thick paper like I did. Squeeze your white glue into your bowl of water and mix it together. You're going to need 1 part of glue to 1 part of water. Generously add your glue mixture to your rope with your paintbrush. And when I say generously, I literally mean like use pretty much all of it. You really want to soak your rope with this mixture. Let this dry overnight until everything hardens. Once everything has dried, carefully remove your rope from the plastic backing. Flip it over and remove any dried hot glue that you can see. Cut off the exposed ends of the rope with heavy-duty scissors to clean up the ends. Spray paint everything in gold spray paint and you are finished. I ended up using small T-pins to hang up my quote, but you guys can use nails or those 3M hooks. And last but definitely not least is the Chanel flower vase. You won't need contact paper because I ended up not using it, but you will need scissors, a wire cutter, a glass vase from the dollar store, clear tape, and a bouquet of flowers, each from the dollar store. Can we just like take a moment to admire how gorgeous these are? So I thought I would try to use the contact paper as a sticker method, but then the printer ink just would not stick onto the contact paper, so that was just a total fail. So I ended up just using my original method, which was using printer paper. I printed the Chanel perfume logo onto the same computer paper as the marble photo from the second tutorial, and then I cut this out. Center the paper onto the vase and lightly add large strips of clear tape on top of it. If your tape isn't big enough to cover the whole piece, then you can use 2 strips like I did. Carefully peel the tape off and cut out the piece, leaving a small border of tape around it. Stick it back onto the vase when you're finished. Cut your flowers and arrange them to your liking, and that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Each flower bouquet that I picked out was $1 each, and they were all from the 99-cent store. I'm sorry if I just seem so overly excited for these faux flowers. It's just that whenever I go to the dollar store or 99-cent store, they never have really nice faux looking flowers, so I was just so amazed that I was able to put together a not so ugly flower arrangement. And here are all the finished projects. I am just so happy with how all of these tutorials came out, and I'm just even more ecstatic that I was able to make all of these with $1 items. For this video, I hope you guys liked all the extraness and bouginess that went on, even though everything was like $1. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you guys want to connect with me on social media, all my socials are at thenavarose. Oh, I also opened a Depop account, so I will link that in the description below. There you guys can shop my closet, and I will also be putting up cool vintage pieces that I find during my thrift trips. That's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!